Okay, this video is about developing apps with the Neptune software DXP Planet 8, the SAP edition. Tag along while I narrate this recorded coding to create a neat and clean handle-on Ajax method. We're starting with a brand new class here and add the if-nad server interface for the communication between frontend and backend. Adding all the methods, of course. And it is the handle-on Ajax method we want to address now. The Ajax ID importing parameter is used to identify the specific Ajax calls, and typically the method is implemented using a big case statement like this. Now I'm going to implement it for 3 Ajax IDs in this demo, but it is by no means uncommon with a stupid amount of branches here, which is what we want to avoid here. I'm writing just some method calls here, commented out for simplicity and to avoid the syntax errors. Okay, so we have the init, prioritize and execute calls here with a couple of methods calls each for a simple demo. First thing to refactor here is to create an Ajax method in the private section for each of the Ajax calls. A strict naming convention is crucial here. We name them with Ajax underscore and the Ajax ID we expect. So we have Ajax init, Ajax prioritize and Ajax execute for our example. Create the method implementation and let's just move them up a bit closer to the handle-on Ajax for visibility in the demo. Then we move the method calls from before into these new methods and call them instead from within the case statement. Already an improvement, but there is more. Now, since we have the naming convention for the Ajax methods, we can actually calculate the name using a simple string template here, like this. Let's call the variable Ajax method name and use the type SEO-CLS name for it. Then we can use the call method statement to call the method dynamically with this syntax. We need to do this in a try-catch block for the case that there is no method defined for a certain Ajax call. We might want to address that with an error message, but in this demo let's just ignore it, just like if there were no branch in the case statement. So then let's remove the case statement and we're basically good to go, but there is one detail left. See, we have the parameters to the handle-on Ajax method that we might need access to in our Ajax methods. I rarely use them, but for the sake of completion, let's get them all. In the private section, we create a structure to hold the data. Handle on Ajax parameters. Let's just keep the names and data types. Then, with the place to store them, first thing in the handle on Ajax methods, before we call the Ajax method dynamically, we set the data in the attribute. And obviously, a nice formatting is always important. Almost done now. There is one exporting and one changing parameter as well. If we want to change or export them in any of our Ajax methods in the structure, we also need to get that data back to the parameters here, like this. And we are done. We can see from the methods in the class which Ajax calls are implemented. 3 in this demo example. As an addition, if you have code that should be run for all Ajax calls, like some kind of logging or exception handling or whatnot, there's still room for it in the handle on Ajax method. Thank you for watching. Feel free to use this way of coding and let me know if you have any questions.